Tariq St. Patrick, son of James St. Patrick, one of New York City's biggest pieces of shit. And you smell just like him.
I don't know what you have in your mind about my father, but whatever that is, that has nothing to do with me.
All my products accounted for, and my men know better than to pull up lacking like you just did. Thought you would too, given who your father was.
Respectfully, you don't know who my father was.
I knew you knew how to solve a problem before it became a problem. And I find it funny you went and got a white boy just like Ghost did. Tell me something. You was crazy as Tommy.
So you really did kill your father?
Ghosts never die.
They asked me before to come back. They asked me in the last year and a half to come back.
Welcome back, Top Notch Gang, to another video, and we're talking more Power Book 2 Ghost Season 4, and our topic for this video is, of course, Ghost. I have never seen this nigga mentioned as many times as we've been seeing recently, and it's mainly been new characters such as Detective Don Carter and Zion, Tariq's new plug. So with all this coming out and happening, there's been a lot of clues and theories of where they got all this information from, how they know about his dual lives being James St. Patrick with the clubs, the politician shit, as well as his identity of Ghost being one of the biggest drug kingpins in the state of New York. So we're gonna have to break down all the details with that, and also how them mentioning Ghost so much could possibly be set up for his return. I still am on the fence about it. I know there's people who 100% think Ghost is coming back. There's people who think, nah, that dude's dead. And there's the big scene of Tariq back at Club Truth, the exact spot he shot and killed Ghost in. So people don't know who he's pointing the gun at, if it's a hallucination or what's going on. So we got to talk about that as well. As usual though, you guys can leave a like, comment, subscribe, leave all your thoughts and opinions down below, and let's get right into it. Now, of course, the first thing we have to point out is Ghost. He covered his tracks pretty well, hiding the fact that he is Ghost throughout the series. We've seen that on multiple occasions, one of the biggest being when he took out everyone within him and Tommy's organization. Drifty, Dimitri sent Ruiz away and everything like that, almost tried to kill Lobos in jail, and he did all of this because, like he told Tommy, they seen both our faces, they knew how we looked, we couldn't take the chance, couldn't risk it, and everything like that. So we know the extent he went to make sure that his two lives were separate, that no one really knew who he was. So that really begs the question how Detective Don Carter as well as Zion has all this information about Ghost. Going further, later when he's going for his political roles, one of the questions posed to him was asking about his past, about being a corner boy, who he used to be and everything like that, and he kind of admits it, saying like he never hides who he used to be, where he's from, but that's still a long way from being Ghost, a kingpin, a drug lord running New York City. So let's lay down some other connections and possible clues for Don Carter and Zion, starting with Don Carter. Now obviously with him being a detective, that's a straight given that he could have possibly heard the name Ghost. We heard this season, of course, what Davis told Tariq after the death of Detective Carter's wife, Denise. He went all out, joined a new task force fully focused on narcotics.
He decided to get back in the streets, started this narcotics task force, and since then he's been going hard on every drug-related motherfucker in New York.
Now, we don't know how long he's been in it, but the fact that he's been focused on narcotics for so long, the name Ghost had to run across his table one way or another. We also got to talk about his connection to Paz Valdez, of course, Angela's sister. Now, a lot of people wonder what's their backstory, what's their connection to one another. I think it's more than likely a grieving group. Obviously, Paz lost Angela prior, and Detective Carter lost his wife, but they possibly met in a grieving session or in church, as we seen them talking at the end of episode 1 in season 4. So I think that connects them to one another. And obviously, the fact that Paz had another sister, Angela, who's working with the feds and everything, is very likely they ran across one another time and time again, especially because Don Carter knew Agent Young worked for the DEA. So they already had background information on one another, just like Paz had background information on Ghost. When Angela first told her she was seeing him again, she was like that little corner boy, that street guy, and all throughout the original Power, she was telling him he's not no good. We know he's still in the streets into the game. You gotta stay away from him. We know him for who he really is. And this led Paz to trying to take out Ghost at the end of season 6. So I think when you mix together the fact that Angela was a Fed, so was her nephew Agent Young, also with the fact that Paz knew Detective Carter, it just all aligns with the fact that he would possibly have some knowledge of Ghost or James St. Patrick. Now obviously there's no way he could prove that he's Ghost, but like he told Tariq, he could just smell the bullshit on him, that he's lying, that he's not real, this is a facade he's putting up. And that's why he made a promise to Paz that he's gonna take Tariq down by any means necessary. And he has a vendetta. This nigga looks serious as fuck. But I just thought it was interesting how Ghost keep being mentioned this season as if everyone just knows that he's Ghost. But let's look into the Zion side of things. Now he's an interesting one, seeing as we just met him and we know far less about him, his background compared to Detective Don Carter and his connection to Paz and the NYPD, the Feds, DEA, and everything like that. But he is the more interesting one because he kind of fits the same role as Mecca. Now you guys love Mecca as a character, and a lot of you guys talk about how y'all felt like he was killed off too early, and that was mainly due to the fact that he had a connection to Ghost in the past. Of course, he worked for Lobos, he was a snitch, he was about to give them up, and Ghost is kind of what helped him out.
What about your uncle, Tommy? I know about your dad, Ghost.
So a lot of people thought that that connection to Lobos and Ghost in the past, tying everything together, was smart. It was genius as fuck. And now they have the same opportunity to kind of do it with Zion if we're actually gonna learn more about his character. Because it seems like so much is going on within the story right now that this Zion nigga isn't as important as we think. And I hope that's not true, because I would hope they wouldn't even introduce this nigga if that was the case. But based off his conversation with Tariq, he knows everything he needs to know about Ghost. He literally said he only took the meeting with Tariq because of Ghost and because his name was St. Patrick. And he also brought up the fact that Ghost worked with Tom. He's telling Tariq he went and got a white boy just like him. So it seems like you could hear the name Ghost and Tommy just a word of mouth just from being in the streets. And Davis did say he grew up in this life. Davis saved him from a RICO case, said Zion grew up fighting in these cage fights that he's now sanctioning.
Zion grew up in this ring. I helped him beat a RICO charge a while back, and now he owns it.
Underground and shit. So he's been in the game for a while. So it's very likely in that way he heard of Ghost and Tommy as well. But to know that James St. Patrick was actually Ghost, not too many people saw his face. So I don't know how he gets from point A to point B. But the fact he know he was working directly to Tommy, it has to be more to it. And I think more details will possibly come out as the season continues. And this brings us to the last part of the video that people feel like this is hinting towards Ghost's return. They're setting up for something big, something major at the end. And it doesn't help that they have the scene of Tariq returning to True. Now, in my last video, I spoiled the ending for Kane versus True. I didn't put it in the title, but I broke down everything and I read part of the episode 10 description. Now, I'm gonna read the other part for Tariq where it says, because it can possibly deal with Ghost, or Ghost could have an impact on the decision he chooses to make. So it says, episode 10 checkmate. Given a second chance, Tariq must choose between the game and starting a new life. This brings us once again to Club True. We know he lost all of this in the Ponzi scheme. We are gonna have to see how he makes his way back here. But we saw in episode 3, him and Braden were talking about how they were gonna move the product with this new group of singers, rapper, whatever, and they're gonna book performances and they're gonna sell through there. Basically a fucking club like James had in the first place. So it's kind of funny, but either way, Tariq is going to be given an opportunity to leave the game once again, and he's at this club. And again, I pointed out how he's standing in the exact same spot Ghost was standing in right before he met his end to his own son. And people think this is a significant moment. Look at the suit he's wearing and everything. But we also see in this scene, he pulls out the gun and he's pointing it at someone. We don't know if this is a hallucination, if he's taking someone out. This is his last chance to get out the game, and whoever he's gonna kill, it's the last path forward. So a lot of people are speculating, did Ghost pop back up? Is he eliminating Brayden? Who can this really be? We're gonna have to just wait and see. But with that episode 10 description, it basically makes sense why this is the last and final season, because if he does choose to leave the game, if him and Diana does choose to have the baby, if everything's safe and they're good, it makes sense why this is the path he takes going forward. As we even seen him within this episode tell Davis he doesn't want to get out the game unless it was his choice, his decision. I think next time around it will be.
I know why I'm doing this. But why are you?
I just couldn't do it. I cannot live that life without the choice being mine. It feels like these motherfuckers made that decision for me.
Especially if he gets Club Truth back. What does this mean about Ghost returning? I'm not sure. Another hint people were talking about was, of course, the poster for this season that said like father, like son, going back to the original poster we saw of Ghost way back then. We also do hear him say I had to use every part of him, the good parts, the bad parts, when referencing Ghost. So a lot of people also believe that this could be talking about him finally accepting his father for who he was, understanding why he did the things he did and everything like that, because everybody talks about Ghost like he's a goat within the show, except Tariq. He the only nigga that act like he wasn't shit. And I'm not gonna lie, Ghost did some fucked up stuff, but when it comes to the game, no one knew it better than Ghost. So a lot of people are connecting these dots and feeling like they're setting up for something big. Unfortunately, we won't be able to find this out until what, October, when the last episode aired, which just feels so far away. But at this point, we're just gonna have to keep our hopes up. Overall though, that's it for this video. You can leave your thoughts and opinions on everything down below. Of course, his connections to the Don Carter and Zion, are they gonna have long-term impact, or are they just throwing his name out there for whatever reasons? You can let me know your theories on his connections to them, how they know his real identity. Hopefully they give us more information on that going forward, as well as if they're gonna do something big, maybe his return, maybe he is dead and Tariq just accepts him for who he is. Who knows? Hopefully something, because it feels like they're just throwing his name out for bait at this point. But you go tell me your thoughts on that as well. As usual, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and let me know any other videos you want to see before episode 4 of Book Ghost airs. This episode, these next two before the break, I just know they're about to be crazy, so we got to do a preview of that. I also am working on a video about Brayden, because he's about to take a turn for a worse, so be on the lookout for that. Once again, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'm out.